It's a bloody load, honestly. I wonder if it's my PS5. Never mind. Just quick load up. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. And I am back, and apologies if I am not 100% enthusiastic about this, but work has been an absolute nightmare, and I'm actually doing this with the extremest of headaches, but work must go on. So, welcome to round 8 of the Renault Megane Trophy. And as you can see, today we are at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. A very, very good circuit, if I do say so myself. So, what is the Renault Megane Trophy? Well, if you've been following this, you know by now. Given the short version, we give these guys a Renault Megane Trophy each. So one make one with the Renault Megane Trophy, in which they belt around 10 circuits for 2 30-minute races, in which they have to use a medium tyre at some point, which is a mandatory one. They have to use it, otherwise you get the naughty waggy finger at you. And as you can see, it is a very, very beautiful day. That's a rather old looking Audi. I wonder what that white one is. I mean, that's an Audi A4. I've never noticed these before. An Audi, I'm not quite sure what that white one is. Questions for later. But anyway, we shall move on. As you can see, our man is eagerly awaiting the trigger button. So we will quickly go through the championship, and after 7 rounds, it is quite tight at the top, with Homesick Alien currently leading on 218 points. And in second, we have Racer Brown on 203. So he's got a bit of a buffer to Racer Brown, but that could be made up quite easily, especially in this championship. So we'll have to keep our eye on that one. In third, we have Guesty on 168 points. I can't read that very well because they look all similar. In fourth, we have Bazza on 159 points. In fifth, we have Big Dan on 154, 5 points separating them. And those two always in a championship battle with each other. So who's going to come out on top of that one, I wonder. In sixth, we have Mrs. Guesty. Oh, hang on a second, I need to check something. Yes, that's fine. Oh no, we don't want to do that just yet. Oh no, I've ruined it all. Too many buttons. Anyway, in sixth, we have Mrs. Guesty on 141 points. In seventh, we have Perch on 124 points. Quite a bit of a buffer there for Mrs. Guesty. In eighth, we have Pat on 119 points. In ninth, we have Rido on 112 points. In 10th, we have in 10th, we have Silver Star on 86 points. Bit of a distraction there because I can hear a fucking pigeon squawking down the bloody chimney. I'm surprised that actually doesn't get picked up. Oh, now you shut up. Charming. In 11th, we have Electric on 73 points. In 12th, we have Kale on 46 points. In 13th, we have Bunny on 32 points, but I don't think he is showing up again. I think he's given up the ghost on this one. as well as Skyjacker, who's in 14th on 6 points, and Harvey still hasn't turned up. I wonder if he's going to turn up today. I wonder, excuse me, for the Windy Pops. So, as we said before, the format for these guys, it is a 10-minute qualifying session in which they'll then, for race 1, it is fastest first to a standing start, and then for race 2, for another half an hour, it is the race 1 results reversed. So how have they managed ours? Let's just spin it around, and oh, there's the podium there. Look, I wonder who's going to be taking it today. I wonder. We got any enthusiastic people that we had in Bathurst or Nürburgring? I'm not 100% sure. Somebody had their arms. Oh, there we go. There's somebody super enthusiastic there. Marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. So, how have they got on at the grid? And there we go. Quite the big lineup for this week. Always wonderful to see. And as we can see, it's Homesick Alien on the pole, getting a good start for his championship winning bid. And in second, we have Mr. Guesty looking up to make some ground on his second place rival, which is Racer Brown, who is in third. In fourth, we have Big Dan getting one up on his title rival. Then in fifth, we have Renault. That's quite a good start for the Renault. Might be the tyres, I don't know. And then in sixth, we have Silver Star. An impressive sixth place for him there. In seventh, we have Pat. Got a good start for him at Spa. Then in eighth, it's Bazza. That's not a bit far down for Bazza at the moment, but it could be the tyres. He could be getting the mediums out of the way early. Then we have Mrs. Guesty starting ninth. Maybe she can make up a spot or two. And then in 10th, and at the back, it is Perchon. So, quite the juicy little lineup we have here today. 10 cars, 10 guys and girls. Or women. I don't know. Duking it out for the podium. As you can see, the fans are enthusiastic. Mr. Cameraman eagerly awaiting. The cameras are out. You're looking the wrong way, mate. They're all down here. They're all looking the other way. Well, some of them are. Some of them are looking this way. Some are looking that way. They're all down here, guys. Looking the wrong way. So, let's get this on the go. And I think it's the GP layout for this, I think. Have a quick check. I'll have a quick check because I know it's not the normal one. Oh, it's the 24-hour version. Oh, okay. No difference to it. It's just they have a different starting grid to the normal one. I think this is the ones that they're using the GT as well. I'm not 100% sure. I'll tell you what we can do. Oh, I've got to turn all these on first. There we go. So, as we can see, Homesick Alien is starting on the mediums, as is Guesty, as is Racer Brown, as is Big Dan, as is Big Dan, as is Renault, as is Silver Star, and Pat, and Bazza, Mrs. Guesty, and Perchon. So they're all on the mediums. They're all getting it out of the way early doors. But don't forget, Spa is a long track, so maybe the softs aren't viable. But let's get these guys on the go. Hang on a second. I've only just realised I could be making a slight error here. I need to double check something. Oh, it is working. Oh, okay, fair enough. It's just the sound's coming through the TV. I normally have it coming through the headset, and it wasn't. And for a second there, I thought nothing was working. But thank God I have not been talking to myself for the past 10 minutes. So we'll give a quick rewind again, and we'll go with take 2. Click. So let's get these lights on, give it all the beans, and wait for it, and away we go. It's a great start for Homesick Alien, and not the best of start for Racer Brown. He's already been hounded by Big Dan and Rito, following shortly behind. Racer Brown, ooh, they've got a bit of paint trading here and there, and that sounded like a back end going, and who's gone? Oh, it's Pat that's gone wide, and Silver Star obviously gone wide as well, so they must have had a bit of a small coming together there. Not the best start for them, but at the moment Homesick Alien still currently holding the lead. Guesty holding float close behind, and now Rito's challenging Racer Brown. What happened to Big Dan in all of that? Because he was hounding Racer Brown at some point, but as you can see now, it's Rito having a look at Racer Brown. Is he going to pull one off in this one? It doesn't look like it. Racer Brown goes defensive, going through the tight hairpin, and I don't remember these names. I know this one's called No Name, I believe, because, I don't know. I never was good at track corner names, and Spa ends up being no different, but as we can see, Racer Brown now starting to pull away from Rito and open them up a little bit of a gap. They're all starting to spread out evenly now, as we can see. I was going to say Bazza somehow managed to get ahead of Big Dan. So, no, it's Rito. No, it is Bazza. What am I on about? Oh god, it's been a long weekend. It's been a majorly long weekend, and it's clear to see that the marbles are on the way out. As we can see, Big Dan has now gone ahead of Bazza as I'm rambling. Must have gone wide going through one of the corners, and Big Dan takes advantage of it. Perch on as well is now being hounded by Mrs. Guesty, and then there's a bit of a gap all the way to Pat in 9th and Silver Star in 10th after their bit of a coming together in Eau Rouge, isn't it? I think it's Eau Rouge. I'm sure I'll get them eventually. But so far at the front, Homesick Aliens currently holding on to the lead, who's been hounded by the Guesty. Guesty can't seem to find a way through at the moment. Homesick Alien pulling off them. Master driving, he knows how to race, he knows how to drive, and he certainly knows how to defend a winning position, and Guesty will be very hard pressed to make Homesick Alien make a small mistake. And as we can see, they're now coming down the hill, coming up to do you know what, I'm going to get a track map. You'd think somebody that knows these things, that does this sort of thing, would actually know what everything is called, but because my brain is filled with 95% useless information, there is no room for it all. But now as they come down up to Lake Com, I do know that one as we come down to Lake Com, and as we can see, Guesty did use a bit of a toe, but he's unable to find the advantage speed, and Homesick Alien goes defensive and making him go round the hard way. And then Homesick Alien closes the door. Guesty remains in second, and all this fighting is going to bring in Racer Brown to the equation. It's going to be a three-way fight for the podium. The three of them now losing. Rito's got a bit of a gap between himself and Big Dan, currently in 5th. But he's also having to defend from Bazza, and we know that these two can have a really good scrap when it comes down to points in the end. We're going to have a flick at the front because we can see Guesty's now having another look at Homesick Alien, having to go round the outside. He still can't find a way through, but is that the invitation that he needs to get through? And there we go, Guesty now takes the lead, but Homesick Alien coming back at him, and Racer Brown is having a beautiful view as we can see Guesty going a little bit deep going through there, and he's now having to defend from Racer Brown, and now Homesick Alien can now put his foot down and give himself a bit of a buffer between these two, who are absolutely slugging away at it. We'll cut back to the outside, and as you can see, they're coming down to the bus stop chicane. I don't know if they can still call it that, actually. No. There we go. Now, is that the actual thing? I believe so. Yes, it is. That'll do me just nicely. It's just called chicane here from what I can see, so I could be wrong. so far at the moment, Homesick Alien still maintaining that lead from Guesty, still holding off in second. He's defended off Racer Brown quite well. Then back in fourth, we've got Big Dan, who's now chasing down Rito, and he's bringing along Guesty, Bazza for company as they come to Les Sources. I am looking at the map, as you can tell. Going through it, Bazza goes a little bit wide there, keeps the back end firmly under control. He doesn't want to lose that at any point. Meanwhile, Mrs. Guesty has gone ahead of Perchon. Maybe a small mistake in the previous lap, it would appear so, because he did a 2:39, and now Silver Star and Pat have caught them up, so they now got an extra playmate to have a jolly good fighting race out of this. But this, maybe they could work together and catch up the big pack later on. It's going to be interesting to see, and we know that tyre wear is going to be an issue here because of the long track. Sticking back at the front, Homesick Alien still holding off quite well. These three, it looks like that these three are going to be the podium sitters, but in which order is it going to be? It's only going to take one tiny mistake from these guys to completely upset the order. And we know that Guesty hasn't been having the best of times in these Renault Meganes, but so far he's looking sweet as a chocolate biscuit. But he's slowly getting closer. Is Racer Brown, is he going to have a go at the Guesty by the end of this lap as they come down to something? I can't keep track of the lap at this rate. I can't look at two screens at once because I lack the ability of modern day teenagers. Rito as well, holding off on fourth. He's going to have to do a bit of defending quite soon. Oh, he goes deep in there, and that's all Big Dan needs to take advantage of the small mistake from Rito. He now moves up into fourth, and he'll be wanting to get a bit of a gap between himself and Bazza. And we know that these two love a good fight between one another. They see each other on track all the time. They see each other all the time in the championship. And it's absolutely cracking to see. As we can see, they've got the leaders up in front, and Racer Brown has closed up that gap between himself and Guesty. Maybe these two could work together to reel in the Homesick of Aliens so that he doesn't completely get away from the pair of them, and they can continue to duke it out for that top step of the podium. As we can see, Guesty has got a bit of a gap between himself and Homesick Alien, and oh, he nearly lost the back end, but he collected it quite well. But Racer Brown can't take advantage of the mistake. But let's not forget, they've got the big Camel Straight coming up, and you know he's going to be tucking into that toe to maximise the whole of the speed coming down the long straight coming up to Les Cons. And there we go, we can see that Guesty's trying to break the toe, but it's going to be no good as Racer Brown now goes out to the outside, and there we go, it's seen he's got second for the moment, and there we go, move executed in perfect fashion. But Guesty is still hounding him for it. He's not letting him get away with it that easily. He has a look on the inside. Is he going to late break it? He late breaks it. Oh, he just manages to hang on without clouting into Racer Brown. And Racer Brown still holding off for second, but all this scrapping is getting Homesick Alien the advantage as he's now running away with it. And it looks like this is going to be another one for Homesick Alien to take home. But it's only going to take a small mistake, and oh, would you believe it, the second I said it, Homesick Alien loses the back end. He's got a bit of front left damage, and the second I said it, it all came in, and so you can't blame that on my curse, because it happened the second I said it. I don't think I could have timed that any more perfectly, and as we can see now, Racer Brown has the lead, but he's being hounded by Guesty. And Guesty now doing the old switcheroo, and there we go, he now takes the lead of this race. But now, are they going to work together? Because we know that Homesick Alien is going to be catching them up the more they continue to fight. Racer Brown wiggling a little bit there. I don't know if he went wide and got the tyres a little bit dirty. I'm not 100% sure. As we can see, he's now tucking into the toe as they come down to the very tight chicane. Still dogging one another. As you can see Guesty goes defensive. Is Racer Brown going to be able to do the cutback? As you can see, Guesty went deep. He was late on the brakes. It may have just worked out for him. But they need to get a move on because Homesick Alien is catching up. You see Renault having a bit of a wiggle there. And you see all the way down to 6th. That's how much they've managed to maintain a gap, and so far Guesty's still holding off the lead. Big Dan is closing up on them in 4th and loses the back end a little bit. That's how squirmish that back end is. It just doesn't want to put the power down. It doesn't want to stay in the right place. It wants to see what the front end is doing. And we can see that Guesty and Racer Brown are going side by side through Les Rouges. That's what I'm looking. No, it is Radion. Listen, there goes Homesick Alien. He takes advantage of all the fighting between Racer Brown and Guesty and retakes the lead. That's all he needed, just the smallest of invitations, and he makes perfect execution of it, and he's now back in the lead, but Racer Brown still hounding him for it. These two are going to be scrapping it out left, right and centre. We'd love to see it on track. We'd love to see it in the championship. Does that remind you of anyone? It certainly should, because they're all the way down here, but at the moment Big Dan currently holding off in 4th. He's slowly catching them up, and Renault's slowly catching them up as well. He's slowly losing Bazza, so maybe he's just hanging back a little bit. Maybe he's saving his tyres to near the dead end of the race where he can take advantage of it. We've got a little bit of a gap here between Bazza and Mrs. Guesty. She's all by her Billy Bob at the moment, but she can just concentrate on keeping the car pointing the right direction, pumping the lap times, and 7th is as good as hers. Perchon in 8th as well. As you can see, Pat is now in 9th. So Silver Star, we can see he must have made a mistake on the previous lap with a 2:44. So Silver Star still struggling with this Renault Megane, and it's quite understandable because these cars are a tricky dicky. So Pat now chasing down Perchon. He's looking for a good 8th place and a good haul of points, but we'll have to cut back to the front because these guys are still going at it. What we always say about Racer Brown and Homesick Alien, they're absolute warriors when it comes to on-track racing. They love to fight one another, and they're at it all over again. We've seen this a lot during this season, and as you can see, Racer Brown now sneaks up on the inside, and Guesty's having a good look between them. I bet he's got a cracking view of this. As we can see, Homesick Alien goes defensive to protect the inside of La Source. And it's going to end in tears. No, it doesn't, but Guesty does sneak up on the inside of Racer Brown, but he hasn't got quite the power down, and there we go. Racer Brown sticks back into 2nd to get some of that toe, and look at the gap between 1st and 3rd. There's probably a few car lengths in it. They're going nose to tail through Radion, and they're absolutely nailing it. As you can see now, Racer Brown, Homesick Alien goes defensive. Guesty goes in between the admin sandwich. And who's going to be bravest on the brakes? Oh, in we go. There's no tears. Racer Brown takes the lead from all of that. Oh, my, what absolute class racing is. It goes wide a little bit. And as we can see, all this scrapping between the three of them is now inviting Big Dan into the fray. So we're now going to have a 4-way fight for the podium. And who's going to be the bravest to take home the glory? And in all of this, is Renault going to catch them all? Oh, where is Renault? Come on, Mr. Cameraman, keep up. Keep up, good sir. That's what you're getting paid for. Wait, we don't pay them. Well, this is what we allow you to live for. So I wonder if all that scrapping between the front 4 is going to invite Renault into this, and is Bazza going to get into it as well, I wonder? Interesting stuff indeed. But as we can see, Guesty is now hounding Homesick Alien for 2nd place, and is Racer Brown going to run away with this now? Is that the invitation he needs to now put some distance between himself and the guys behind him? But every attempt being made is not pulled off so far. As we can see, Guesty's still in 3rd, and Big Dan 4th out of all of this. He's keeping up with the faster guys in front of him, and kudos to Big Dan for keeping up with them. probably not the easiest thing he's got to do. I mean, let's face it, the guys in front of him are very, very quick. But in equal machinery, it looks like he's having the time of his life out there. Oh, don't lose the back end now. Don't do it. Oh, Guesty had a bit of a wiggle on as well, but he's managed to keep it on the tarmac. As we can see, Jose Alien has snuck the lead out of all that one. Coming out of the chicane, he's defending into the source. Easy does it, guys, and there we go. Jose Alien holding on to the lead, and now Racer Brown can have some of that juicy toe as we come up to a Rouge. And let's keep it gentlemanly, boys. There we go, easily done, and now Jose Alien is an open target. Are we going to see a 3 wide going into the corms, I wonder? Oh, and Racer Brown manages using the toe to squeeze himself back into the lead. Is Guesty going to take advantage of it? Not at the moment, but he's now got the inside. He's trying to force Homesick Alien a little bit further out, but he doesn't play that game, and as we can see, Homesick Alien still holds off into second, but he's been hounded by the Guesty as he now comes up to, oh god, I don't know how you pronounce that. Oh god, I think I need sacking. Right, no more corners. So far at the moment, Racer Brown now having a bit of a buffer between Jose Alien, and he touched the grass just a little bit, and he drifts round the corner, and he's still holding on to it. Oh no, there we go. Jose Alien could not control it, and he just loses it into the midway of the corner, and Renault gets by as well. Is Bazza going to get by him as well? Yes, he does. Jose Alien has dropped to 6th like an absolute stone after just pinching the grass with his rear right tyre, and it looks like he had it under control for a second, drifting round the corner, but then the back end snapped back into place and he wasn't able to hold it off. So Racer Brown holds on to the lead. You can see there's got a bit of a buffer between himself and Big Dan. That's Guesty going wide, and that's invited Big Dan home into second. He's absolutely gotta be loving this. He's duking it out with the aliens, and he's all that patience and just keeping a cool level head, and it's got him up into second, and Reno's jumped up into third. That's how painful Guesty going wide has cost him, and Reno's now up to second. Is Bazza going to fancy a piece of the podium? We're just 17 and a half minutes in with 22 and a half minutes to 12 and a half minutes to go. Is Bazza going to be able to pull a sneaky one off and get himself onto the final step of the podium? As we see, Jose Alien is now overtaking Guesty. It's all change on the podium in one lap. It's near enough a whole change with Racer Brown, the only one to stay on top at the moment. But is it going to be a small mistake from Racer Brown going to cost him, I wonder? Mrs. Guesty is slowly catching them up as well. I don't think she is catching them up, but they are a lot closer to her, and she's probably absolutely loving this as well. I think, come on boys, do a few more mistakes, let me have some fun. I'm all on my lonesome here. Not that I mind, but it'd be nice to have a race with somebody. Got Perch on in 8th as well. He's managed to shake off Pat, who's now been overtaken by Silverstar. So Silverstar, just constantly keeping on with the lap times, has managed to get himself ahead of Pat, who looks like he hasn't made much of a mistake. So it's either Superstar has found some unbelievable pace out of that car, which, yeah, 231 and a 232, he's found some pace out of that car and has managed to get ahead of Pat, which maybe a small mistake on the previous lap, I don't know. Doesn't look like there's any paint missing from the car, so I really don't know. Very interesting stuff. So we've got a bit of a fight for 9th place all the way back here, and oh, Pat touching the grass. The Megane did not like that at all, but Pat fighting hard to keep that under control, and is now hunting. Oh yeah, we can see a bit of paint missing there on over the front wing, so he must have collected a barrier at some point. But so far, Racer Brown, keeping the calm, collected head, has managed to pay off for him, as it looks like the win is heading this way, and that's what he needs in his championship fight with Homesick Alien, and he's going to be liking this. Homesick down in 5th, thinking I'll have more of these please and get me back into this championship fight. Big Dan in 2nd as well, a very surprising 2nd. He's probably surprised at this as well, but he'll take them all day long. He just has to keep it pointing in the right direction, and a good podium will be his. Rito still holding off in 3rd as well, but he's being hounded by the Baz. You've got to say that Bazza must be feeling that a podium could be on here, but he'll have to get a move on at some point, because the rocket ships of Homesick Alien and Guesty are very, very fast approaching. They've got 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes to chase these two guys down to regain 3rd place. I think it's going to be a fight for 3rd, barring that there's no mistakes from the guys in front of him. It looks like we're going to have a fight on for 3rd. Rito will definitely be fighting them off as hard as he can. He'll be wanting this 3rd, no doubt, but he'll have to hold off our Belgian bullet. Can he do it? Can Rito maintain a solid defense for 9 more minutes? We'll stick with them for the time being, because this is where the fighting is at the moment. Everybody seems a bit spaced out at the moment. These guys are the closest together, so we will stick with them. I was going to say, Baz is just looking for every single inch of the track to give himself as much speed as he can. He knows the threat coming behind them from Homesick Alien and Guesty. You know that they'll probably make light work of Bazza, so he'll be wanted. That was Rito going wide. Where's Rito gone? Oh, Rito must have gone wide, because the gap wasn't that small between him and Bazza. Bazza applying enough pressure to get Rito to make a mistake. And is he going to be able to take advantage of it? It doesn't look like he can't make his way through at the moment. Is he going to... I have a feeling he could be waiting for the twisty straight coming down to the big chicane before... No, it's not the end of lap. Oh no, that's Rito going wide again. Is that Bazza taking advantage of it? He just can't. He just can't quite take advantage of it, but Rito will have the dirty tyres from the outside, and Bazza's going around the outside. It's flicking between them, but Rito has the inside, but Bazza's got the speed, and oh no, they've both gone wide. Keep it, gentlemen, boys. There we go. And Homesick Alien's now having a look at Rito. So the small mistake of Rito going wide has cost him dearly, and it's now down to 5th, and Bazza won't be liking that one, because he'd have preferred Rito be in front of him to be a bit of a defensive barrier between him and Homesick Alien. But Homesick Alien can now smell blood. He must smell blood. He must smell the podium. He must think it's still on, and he's going to be applying all that pressure to Bazza. As we can see, he's now on the back end of Bazza, and Bazza, as soon as he gets the podium, is now looking at the possibility of losing it. As we go through a route or Radione, either one or the other. I'm very bad at this. Please don't kill me. But now Homesick Alien will be tucking into that toe. Is Bazza going to break the toe at any point? It doesn't look like he is. Homesick Alien having a look, but doesn't quite have the speed. As we can see behind, Guesty is able to use the toe to fight Rito. Oh, Rito really making him work for it, and I'm not sure if it was a bit of a push wide there. I don't know. That's probably might be one for the stewards. I don't know. It could have been a mistake from Guesty for all I know. But Rito's still holding on to 5th. Let's have a look in front here, as Guesty is still holding off Homesick Alien. Is he going to hold on for another 6 minutes? You just need to hold on for 6 more minutes, Bazza, and that podium is yours. I think Racer Brown will be hoping that Bazza can hold him off to help in his championship fight with Homesick Alien. You can see the difference, and then we can see Guesty having another look at Rito. Can't quite find the space in order to make the move happen. As we can see, Bazza having to go defensive, and that's all Jose Alien may need. He has a look on the inside, but thinks better of it. Thinks he could probably use the toe coming down to the chicane, and that's where he can pull the trigger to get back onto the podium. So far, Bazza playing an absolutely solid defensive game, but there's only so long you can hold off the Jose of Alien. Jose Alien goes wide a little bit there. Bazza can breathe easy a little bit, but not for long, because you know he'll be coming straight back at him. And now as you can see, all this fighting, Renault and Guesty has managed to keep them up. Maybe Bazza will be thinking, oh no, Jose Alien's lost the packet. Oh my word, what has happened to Jose Alien? The matrix not working in the internal processor is really hampering Jose Alien. He drops down to 6th, and Bazza must be breathing the biggest sigh of relief. And now all that pressure from Jose has been lifted. But Guesty and Renault are now scrapping it out for 4th place as we go through Radion. Easy, gents, nice and easily does it. Guesty goes off a little bit there. Is he going to relinquish the position? I don't think he is, so he must have thought that he got pushed wide. I don't know, but he's holding on to it for the time being, so I'm sure if Renault will be heading to the stewards with that one again. It looks like they're going to have a very busy day today, but we will have to wait and see. Jose Alien must be absolutely livid with himself with the amount of mistakes he's done today. Very rarely do we see any mistakes from this man, and he must be absolutely livid. Let's have a look further down. We haven't seen these guys for a while, so Mrs. Guesty still holding off in 7th. Still, she's quite close. Well, she's not that far. Well, she's a bit far off from Jose Alien. Maybe hoping for a little bit more mistake as the sun sets around Spa. Look how red it is. Absolutely beautiful. I've never noticed this weather change before. That is absolutely stunning. Look how the red goes off Mrs. Guesty. Oh, we got a yellow flag. It's Renault. Oh, poor Renault. He was having an absolutely cracker of a race, but has just lost it on, well, probably lost the back end, and that's invited Jose Alien up into 5th, and he must be counting his lucky stars again because he's gained another position out of it. And is Mrs. Guesty going to catch up Renault, I wonder? There's starting to be a bit of a gap. Just less than 3 minutes remaining. I don't think Mrs. Guesty is going to catch up Renault. Meanwhile, Silverstar's up into 8th. He's been pumping in the lap times, and it's turned out brilliantly. He's now up into 8th. Perchon down in 9th. He must have, well, he has put in slightly slower times than Silverstar, so he's just been picking away at the lead, and it's really paid dividends for him. Now up to 8th. Perchon down into 9th, and Pat all by his lonesome in 10th. But it's going to be still some good chunky points at the end of it for you. Meanwhile, Racer Brown has absolutely run away with it. He's seen his championship rival take a nosedive, and I suspect that this might be Racer Brown taking the lead of the championship at the end of this race, providing there's no mistakes in race 2. So it's all looking sweet for Racer Brown. Big Dan holding off in 2nd. He's going to be absolutely loving this without a doubt. Good 2nd for Big Dan. Bazza in 3rd. He must be absolutely sweating bullets on that one after fighting off Jose Alien, after scrapping with Renault. This is going to be a well-earned 3rd for him, but it's not over yet because Guesty is catching fast. That's what I'm looking for, but unfortunately the 20 pence ran out of the machine upstairs and I couldn't think of the wording. Is Guesty going to be able to catch him with a minute left? Is he going to be able to catch Bazza by the end of it? Alien probably looking forward to the back end of this one. Maybe just go back to the motorhome for a little bit, just breathe a sigh of relief, get all that frustration out of him, come back at race 2 and get some good results from it. Rito in 6th, he was having a good race until a small mistake cost him, and he's probably going to be happy to come away with the 6th. Mrs. Guesty all by her lonesome. Well, she's had a bit of a quiet one. Maybe she'll have a bit more excitement in race 2 as the lights are now coming on as the sun sets. Silverstar, well, didn't have the best of starts. He was way off the pack at one point in the race and has just slowly picked himself up. And is he going to get Mrs. Guesty by the end of this, I wonder? I don't think so, because the flag is about to drop. Is Racer Brown going to get to the line before the checker flag? No, it drops now, so Racer Brown takes the win. Big Dan wasn't that far behind him in 2nd. And Bazza, you little Belgian ballista, he couldn't be probably leaving his luck. He takes 3rd place. Guesty was not able to catch him, but Homesick Alien managed to catch Guesty, but it's not enough. Guesty in 4th. Homesick Alien comes home in 5th. Rito comes home in 6th. He'll probably be pleased with the result, probably happy with the amount of racing he had, because it was great at one point, but one mistake cost him. Rito takes 6th. Mrs. Guesty comes home in 7th. Silverstar, a great recovery, comes home in 8th, and we've got a bit of a gap between 8th and Perchon, who is now going to cross the line to come home in 9th. And then we've got a bit of a gap all the way down here to Pat, who goes wide a little bit there. And here we go. Wow, that was a beautiful first race, wasn't it? It was absolutely cracking race. Pat really struggling, obviously losing front end grip, and there we go. And I see if I can. Nope, I couldn't do the same trick as I did at Road Atlanta. So there we go. Racer Brown takes the win after a dogfight of a first race, and he'll be happy with the large chunk of points coming his way. Maybe take the lead of the championship from Homesick Alien. Big Dan, the surprising 2nd, he'll take those all day long. And you've got to give him credit as well. He was able to stick with them. All the fighting from Racer Brown, Guesty and Homesick Alien gave him all that he needed, kept his composure, kept the back end from slipping out, and paid off all the mistakes from all the others, and comes home with a beautiful podium 2nd. Bazza as well. He'll be chuffed to bits with that one. Just keeping it straight and narrow and taking advantage of all the mistakes of happening around him. Comes home in 3rd. Well done, Bazza. Guesty coming home in... Hang on, that's Mrs. Guesty, isn't it? Oh, it must be oh, it's a colour tone change. Ah, that's why. That explains it all. So, Guesty coming home in 4th. He really, just a small mistake on lap 7 has just cost him a podium, but he'll still be happy with the 4th place. Homesick Alien, the rare mistakes we see from our resident alien, and he'll be happy to see the back end of this one, and probably won't be happy slipping points to Racer Brown in his championship fight. Rito coming home in 6th, a hard fought 6th to be fair. Probably could have thinking he might have done a little bit better. Just a few mistakes here and there has cost him dearly, but he was scrapping it out with our resident aliens. So kudos to him on that one. Mrs. Guesty having a bit of a quiet one, coming home in 7th. Still going to be some good points for her. Silverstar with the absolute recovery drive and a half. The poor start he had, it's just chipped away at everybody's lead, and he managed to come home in 8th. Perchon coming home in 9th. He's probably had a bit of a scrappy one, and maybe not a fan of Spa, I'm not 100% sure, but he comes home in 9th, and Pat coming home in 10th. Probably one for him that he's looking forward to seeing the back end of. I don't know if he likes Spa himself or not, I don't know, but he seems to be struggling out there. But you know what I always say, chaps, yeah, you may be further down the order, but Still going to get some good chunky points out of it. And there we go, race 1. Should we have some race 2? I think we should have some race 2. I think we should. If it's anything to go by the first one, that's going to be great. So that's what we want. Race 2, that is definitely what we want. Right. I'm going to have a liquid refreshment top up. I want to get this going. And then we'll crack on. You know the score by now. Don't look. Do not look. You don't want to look. There's some. There we go. See, you can look now. Right. Right. That is the fruit relubricated. Let's get this turned on. So, as we have a look down, we know that it's going to be, the grid is race 1 results reversed, so we can see that Pat's going on to the softs, so he's pulling the brave move. I suspect there's no doubt that the softs won't last a full lap. So, the full half an hour, that's what I'm looking for. Oh God, I'm tired. The softs won't last the full half an hour, so we expect Pat's going to pit at some point. Perch on the softs as well. Silver Star also on the softs. Mrs. Guesty on the softs. Renault on the softs. Homesick Aliens on the soft. Guesty's on the soft. Bazza going for the mediums again, so he's thinking of the long game. As is Big Dan, and Racer Brown is also on the softs, so we've got a bit of a mixture. With Big Dan and Bazza the only ones on the mediums. How interesting. So they're probably going to be pits at some point, maybe not for Bazza and Big Dan, maybe they're thinking of the longer game. Is it going to pay dividends for them by the end of it? So let's get them lights on. Let's give it some beans and let's have some night racing at Spa. Off we go. And whoa, what happened there? I'm not sure. Somebody might have not launched off the start. I couldn't tell who it was, but let's go through Radion in one piece this time, eh, chaps? Nobody going wide. And there we go, we seem to have gotten through all cleanly, and yes, now we can properly get underway. So, Pat's totally holding off the lead from Perchon, who's been hounded by Silver Star. Rito's in 4th, we've still got Homeland Alien in 5th, don't forget he got the higher start because of his late finish. Only having a look at Rito coming up on the braking zone, but he wasn't able to take advantage of it, and Rito takes Silver Star at the same time, jumping down into 4th, and he's been hounded by Homesick Alien. You think Homesick Alien is going to really make mincemeat out of Silver Star? And there we go, he has a look on the inside there. He's not quite got it done yet. He's holding on the outside, and there we go. It is saying that Homesick Alien is... No, it's not Silver Star. Oh, Silver Star goes wide. He loses the back end. He makes contact with Guesty. Oh, it's all done there. Bazza holding well off in 7th. Racer Brown up to 8th already. Mrs. Guesty dropped in 9th. Maybe she was the one that didn't get the launch off the start, I wonder. And there we go, Big Dan now on the inside of Mrs. Guesty. And there we go, make short work of her. And they're going to... They are on the mediums and thinking of the long game. They'll probably want to save their tyres as best as they can because everybody else will be pitting around them, and they probably won't want to. Oh, and that was Pat going wide on the outside. Reno having a look on the inside, but it didn't work. So far at the moment, Pat's still holding off the lead, but Reno's going to be tucking into that toe to get some of that juicy overspeed. He can't quite find a way through Pat. Putting up the defensive game. I can't tell who's who at the moment. Reno's still holding off, but Homesick Aliens is already up into 3rd. He is wanting some payback from race 1, and there we go, he goes through on the inside. That's Pat going wide, easy through the chicane, Japs. Oh, Homesick Alien. I'm not sure if Homesick Alien was pushed wide. I'm not 100% sure, I couldn't quite get a view of it, but he comes back on track and he's still holding Reno for second, and maybe Pat can use this as an advantage to escape. And as we go through the source, we can see Homesick Alien is now up into second and can now start chasing down Pat for that first place. Guesty's moved up into third. Reno is in fourth. Silverstar holding off in fifth. Yep, there we go. It's now working now. Silverstar holding off in fifth, but he's being chased by Racer Brown, who is on the soft spot. So then everybody else is, except for Bazza and Big Dan. I've got to remember that one, as they're all using the toe coming down for it. Racer Brown, he can't go right because that's where Reno is. And oh, that was Pat having a look at Homesick Alien, but he couldn't make it work. Really struggling to keep that back end from sliding out. He's being hounded by Guesty, who's been hounded by Reno, and not far behind them is Silverstar and Racer Brown. Bazza in 7th at the moment, with Big Dan in 8th. They've managed to dispatch Perchon and Mrs. Guesty, so they're all hanging back. Maybe they're probably looking after their softs, and I really don't think even looking after them in this length of Spa is really going to hold them all. And I can see that Homesick Alien has taken the lead. We'll go back and have a look at it. It's quite a way. Oh wait, no, he already had the lead, didn't he? It's Guesty I'm thinking of. Yes, it was Guesty that I was having a look at. So we can see that Guesty has the inside going through the hairpin, and we can see, I can't see where he is now at the moment. There he is, he's on the outside of Pat, and there we go, makes it easy done. Oh, the back end squirmy a little bit, but he's managed to keep hold of it and keep that second place as he now defends the inside from Pat. And there we go, he's managed to hold off second, and now he can think about chasing down Homesick Alien. Pat now down to third, and Reno in fourth. And as you can see, Racer Brown has gone ahead of Silverstar, and he's now probably thinking he needs to really make the moves count. And as we can have a look, he's having a look at Reno. Reno goes wide a little bit, but holds off in fourth. But it's now saying that Racer Brown is in fourth. I can't quite tell who's got the lead. They must be side by side at the moment. Reno, I can see he had the inside, and that's Racer Brown going wide, and that's everybody going by him. That's Silverstar and Bazza taking over Racer Brown, who went wide. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe, don't know if it's a small mistake from Racer Brown, another rare mistake from our resident alien. I wonder, I don't know. We have seen our top guys really making the odd mistake here and there, and whoa, see a bit of smoke there. I'm not quite sure what happened. Everyone all seems to be perfectly fine at the moment, so I don't know. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's get rid of that. So at the moment, Homesick Alien is now fighting. Well, having to defend from Guesty, who is in second. Pat is down into third, who's being hounded by Reno, who's got Silverstar for company behind them. We've got Bazza now being overtaken by Racer Brown and Big Dan at the same time. Oh, whoa, hang on. Big Dan has managed to squeeze himself through and has gone up into sixth. The medium tyre runners are absolutely bringing it to Racer Brown, who seems to be struggling on the soft tyres at the moment. Not quite sure what's going on in that cockpit of Racer Brown, but he's really struggling in race 2. But that's probably what Homesick Alien is probably hoping for, is a role reversal, as it was Homesick Alien struggling in race 1, and now we've got Racer Brown struggling in race 2. There's Pat going wide. Reno takes advantage of it and moves up into third. Silverstar moves up into fourth, and Racer Brown takes advantage of it and moves up into fourth. Wow, they're swapping places left, right and centre. That's Silverstar going wide. Big Dan takes advantage of it. Pat's having a look on the inside of Silverstar, but can't quite make the move work. And he's holding off on the outside now, but it hasn't seemed to have worked. Pat has dropped from, I think it was third, all the way down to seventh. A small mistake from Pat has seen a dramatic change for him and is now running down at the bottom of the pack. Who's that spinning there? It's Reno. Reno's lost the back end again. It was in that corner as well where he lost it. So he's not a big fan of that corner as he drops down into last. Poor Reno. Not the race he won. He was going so well for him in race 1 until the end. And now in race 2, it appears to have happened all over again. Back at the front row, Homesick Alien currently running away from Guesty, who doesn't have an answer for Homesick's speed. Homesick Alien, well, it's only the second lap, so it's bound to have the second fastest lap, which we'll have a look later on, because I didn't do that in race 1, because I am a pillock. See Guesty just closing the gap a little bit there. They've got quite a gap between himself and Racer Brown, who's now moved up into third. And kudos at the moment to Big Dan. Those medium tyres, he's pushing them to the absolute limit, and he's managing to hold off quite well against the soft runners. Is this something that they knew that the others didn't? Did they know something about the medium tyre? Very interesting indeed. It's like the Canadian Grand Prix, the Haas is on the wets and nobody else knew. Maybe they knew something about the mediums, the other guys didn't on the softs. You can see Pat holding off 5th at the moment from Silverstar, who's absolutely hounding him as they go through Radion. Going on, there we go, as they come down the Camel Straight. Silverstar all over the back end of Pat's back. Renault Megane like an absolute rash. He pulls the trigger, goes on the inside. Pat trying to defend, but the door is closed on Silverstar, and there we go. Silverstar moves up into 5th in a beautiful move. Very, very well done. Bazza holding off in 2nd. He's the other medium runner at the moment, not able to find the magic that Dan has in his medium tyres, or maybe he's just saving them. Just looking after him a little bit to help him out, get him all the way to the end, as these guys are bound to be pitting around him, so he'll need as much grip as he can spare when it comes to the end of the race. This is Guesty in 8th. She's not all that far behind them, but she's got Perchon for company, who's also being closely followed by Reno. He'll be wanting to make up some lost ground after that mistake. And as we can see, Guesty's got the lead. Let's go and have a look. Oh my, this was quite a way back. This is quite a way back. It's all the way back to the previous lap. Good lord. So as you can see, the guys are going down, coming up to the source. There we go. He pulls the trigger. Got the inside line. I guess that's all Guesty needs. Easy does it, chaps, through the tight hairpin, and there we go. Guesty now has the lead, but Homesick Alien is really making him fight for it. Are we going to see 2 wide through Radion and La Source? Not La Source. Rouge, there we go. I knew it was one of those two. And there we go. Guesty's managed to take the lead at the moment, but Homesick Alien now tucking into that toe. I'm guessing Guesty is going to go defensive. He's going into the middle of the track. There we go. Now he's got the inside. Now he's going to defend. Goes back into the middle to defend against Homesick Alien, and he has no answer for it. So Guesty, oh, he lost the back end there, but he managed to maintain the lead. But goes deep into that inside, but Homesick Alien did not. Oh, there we go. A bit of a windy pop. Homesick Alien unable to take advantage of it, and he's having a look left, right and centre. He's absolutely hounding the back end of Guesty, but Guesty has an answer for everything that Homesick Alien can throw at him. You can see Racer Brown now in 3rd. I think this is where we were up to as well, so I think we're now back to where we were from the start. Yeah, we'll just call it that. So Racer Brown still off in 3rd. Big Dan is still in 4th. He's making those medium tyres do wonders. Silverstar in 5th. Is he going to be hounding Big Dan at the moment? Anytime soon, perhaps? I know he's got the tyre advantage, but is he going to be able to use it to his advantage? I wonder. Pat's still holding off in 6th. Bass is still holding off in 7th. He'll be wanting to track those guys down, but with the medium tyres on, it goes deep a little bit there. medium tyres, making him having to work hard to make the car work as well. And I think he's slowly starting to lose the guys in front of him. Oh God, I'm going to yawn. Oh, there we go. That's how long of a day I've had. Oh, not good when you're trying to be professional. I'm about as professional as wet fish, so I can't say anything about that. And there we go, Silverstar having a look at Big Dan, but can't quite make the move work. There we go, brain's starting to shut down now. This is not a good sign. Oh dear. I think my P60 is in order, don't you think? Right, shall we try this again? We will try this again. Yes. Oh, hang on. Pat's having a look at Silverstar now for 5th place. That's how much of a shift it was being. Silverstar was having a look at taking Big Dan going through the chicane, and now he's having to defend from Pat. As they now tuck into the toe, and we'll stick with these guys for the time being. So this is probably the closest action we have on track. As you can see, the nose to tail, Pat now pulling the trigger as they come up to the come. And easy as we does it, but Silverstar managed to defend like an absolute brick wall and retakes that 5th place, and he's managed to catch up Big Dan a little bit as well. Let's not forget that Big Dan is on the medium tyre, but these soft guys are going to be feeling the pain very, very soon. Over 10 minutes into this race, and we can see that Pat has used a considerable chunk of grip on his front tyres. Silverstar has looked after his a little bit better, so he's got a little bit more grip than Pat, and we know that Big Dan can go through a set of tyres, but he's on the medium, so they're going to be not giving up the ghost as quick, but they don't have the grip that these other guys will have. We'll have a quick through of everybody. As we can see, Guesty is now pulling up a small buffer between himself and Homesick Alien in second. Guesty currently having the fastest lap with a 2:28.3, so he means business in race 2. Homesick Alien really making amends for the race 1. Small mistakes that he kept making, but he's got Racer Brown tight behind him, so unfortunately he's not going to be making much of an impact in this race unless he hopes that Racer Brown makes a few small mistakes himself in this race to really drop the difference in places between the two of them. Big Dan still holding off in 4th. He's apt to really defend for this, and Silverstar really late on the brakes, went heavily into that corner, and he's really having to fight off Pat for it. I'm not sure if there was much of a collection of Pat there, but he's managing to hold off for 5th. Look, Pat's out having a look on the inside. Is he going to be braver on the brakes? It doesn't look like it, but Pat has managed to keep on the inside. Silverstar struggling to keep the back end from slipping out, and Pat's taking advantage of it. They're now going side by side, coming up to Eau Rouge and Radion. As we can see, they're switching 4th, and they get through it nice and easily. I think Pat went wide a little bit there, not by much, but I think it was just enough for Silverstar to breathe a small sigh of relief. But now Bazza's having a look at Pat just slightly in front of him, using the toe. Is he going to be able to pull the trigger? Coming up to Lake Combs, and no, he can't. He thinks better of it. Tucks back under into the rear of Pat, maybe thinking of another way to get at our resident Statman. Maybe that's where the Statman Pat. Not implying anything there, Pat, honestly, but it's the first thing I think of is a certain postie, we will say. Do you have a black and white laptop at all? It doesn't. No, you can't really replace Cat with laptop, can you? I'll have to think of another way for a computer that runs Excel. So there we go. Silverstar still holding off in 5th. Is he able to? I don't think he's going to be able to catch Big Dan, although there's not that much between them really. So he might be able to catch up Big Dan at some point sooner or later. We could have a good fight for fourth. Perhaps. We would love to see it. We'll have a quick check with these guys. We can see Homesick Alien has managed to catch up. Guesty has used those tyres a little bit more than Homesick Alien. So maybe it's just that small little bit of a grip advantage that Homesick Alien has at the moment from looking after him. We can see he's really closed the gap to Guesty. We'll stick with these guys because it is for the lead. You can see Guesty's managed to get himself out of the chicane a lot quicker than Homesick Alien. Just makes a bit of a buffer, but we know Homesick Alien will really close that one up. So we now scream down to Eau Rouge and Radion. I'm not going to keep mentioning them every time soon, but then again, if I do, it'll probably get drilled into my head and it will stick with me. Nose to tail going through as they're coming down the Camel Straight. Is Homesick Alien going to pull the trigger before coming up to Lake Combs, I wonder? Can't see anything. There we go. Guesty goes defensive, making Homesick Alien go around the outside. It's saying he's got the lead. Who's braver on the brakes? Guesty has the inside, but now Homesick Alien does. Oh, there's no contact between the two of them, and Guesty manages to hold off Homesick Alien that a little bit longer, but they're coming side by side now. And Guesty having the inside. He's really having to make Homesick work going round the outside, but now he has the inside coming up to No Name. And they're still side by side. My word, top hats off to these two. They're sticking side by side through a majority of this lap, and there we go. Homesick Alien tucked back in onto the inside because he's probably realising that he's losing time to Racer Brown, who he really doesn't want to help catch up, because he's in the middle of a championship fight with this guy. In fact, these three are pretty much close together in the championship, so they probably don't want to be losing too much time to either one of them. Looking further down, we've got Big Dan, who's still got a bit of a gap between himself and Silverstar. Silverstar still looking after those tyres pretty well. I think he might be able to go to as long as the end of the race. If he just keeps managing it pretty well, he might be able to hold off with a no-stopper. Bazza as well. We know the mediums will go all the way, so he's not an issue about it. Or though he may be wondering, when are the other guys going to pit, I wonder? Will anybody pit, I wonder? Reno still holding off in second. Pat now down to 8th. It's all gone wrong for the Pats. Doing quite well at the start, but it's just slowly dropped forward. He's being hounded by Mrs. Guesty, looking left and right, looking for a way through the Pat brick wall. You just can't quite find a way through. Pat goes wide a little bit. Is Mrs. Guesty going to be able to take advantage of it, I wonder? I don't think she can. Has a little look, but then thinks better of it. Maybe we can do it at another time. As the sun is now starting to rise over the beautiful country of Belgium. Oh yeah, it's Bazza's home race, isn't it? Well, I just realised that. Welcome home, Bazza. I've always wanted to go to Belgium, I'm not right. I've been told it's a pretty nice place. Well, then again, at the same time, the person that told me it was a nice, beautiful country. Let's just say she's not reliable. That's all I'll mention. She's an unreliable source of information. So Rito holding off in second. Pat has got a bit of a buffer between himself and Pat now. Still being hounded by Mrs. Guesty and Perchon, all on his Billy Lonesome at the moment, but a small mistake from somebody might give him a bit of a playmate coming into it, although he could be looking after those tyres. Maybe he doesn't want to do a no-stopper either. Oh, whoa, we can see Homesick Alien has taken the lead. How far back is this, I wonder? Oh, my word, it's all the way back here. There we go. We'll kick with these guys at the moment. Let's get rid of that as they come down to the chicane. Is Homesick Alien going to go around the outside? Yes, he does. He now has the inside. Guesty goes wide. Probably looking for the switchback, but it's not going to work for him at this time. As now he swings round to the outside. Homesick Alien going defensive, and all this fighting is bringing Racer Brown into the fray, so we're going to have these three duking it out for the podiums yet again. We saw it in race 1, but small mistakes from 2 of them. We won't mention them because they're probably embarrassed by it. Mistake from 2 of the 3 of these guys saw them drop down, with only 1 of them getting the podium at the end of it all. But it looks like they're all going through it squeaky clean. They've all looked after the, well, Homesick Alien's looked after his softs. Guesty's got used a good chunky half of his tyres, so maybe the softs can go all the way to the end. Maybe they can go. So I would be wrong in that department once again. As we can see, all 3 of them are now scrapping it out now. Homesick Alien maintaining the lead. Guesty still holding off in second with Racer Brown in third. He can now sniff the double win. Is Racer Brown going to pull one out of the bag and get a double win here? That will do absolutely wonders for his championship battle with Homesick Alien. Guesty just looking to get some more points under it so he can bring it to these 2 in the championship. Nose to tail for Racer Brown and Guesty, but so far none of them are making any form of small mistakes. 2 of them have probably learned from their previous mistakes in race 1. So far it's all holding off well for these 3 as Racer Brown now goes on the outside but can't find a way through the Guesty defensive brick wall. It looks like he might have lost the back end, or I don't know if he was just swinging wide. I'm not 100% sure. So I think was this where we were up to before? I wonder. I think so. Well, it was worth the rewind then, wasn't it? Because we got some good juicy battling out of it. So far, Big Dan still holding off in third. Quite a commendable race for him on the mediums. He's done quite well, to be fair. I guess he's a big fan of Spa because he's done absolutely wonders round here. He's managed to maintain that gap between himself and Silver Star, who is on the softs and is not able to put a small dent in Big Dan's buffer between himself, despite the tyre advantage. But, oh, that's Big Dan going deep. Have I spoke too soon again? Oh, where's Big Dan? That sounded like Tyre Squirrel, but he's managed to keep it in one direction so far. But he's Silver... Oh, more windy pops. Good Lord. I'm not having a very good one tonight, am I? So Silver Star has now closed up the gap to Big Dan. I was going to say that maybe this is the cut-off point, but then again, he's gone through half of the mediums, so the mediums are now going to be struggling. Silver Star roughly the same grip levels, but he is on the soft, so he's still got a lot more grip in his name. Bazza on the mediums, he's got more grip in front of them, but again he's on the mediums, so he's not able to take advantage of it. Silver Star tucking into the toe. It looks like he's going to be held. Yep, he's going. Dan's going to hold it. I'll tell you what, we'll stick with these lot for a little bit. We'll quickly check the guys in front. Homesick Alien still second, Guesty and Racer Brown. Yep, that's all as it was before, and we'll stick with these guys for the time being, because I'll tell you what, who wouldn't like a little scrap between these 2? So far, Big Dan has had the advantage over Bazza in their little championship battle, but you've got Silver Star in between them. So Big Dan will be happy with this. This will help him with Bazza in their fight. Silver Star will probably want a good 4th out of this. A 4th place for Silver Star really would be great for him. Good chunk of points out of it, and he's really doing well round Spa. Barring the little... I'm not sure what happened at the start of race 1, but he really ploughed it through, and he's really bringing it back to these guys in front of him. But Big Dan has managed to hold him off for the time being. We will cut back to them at some point. Let's check in with these guys, but there's still a good buffer between them, as Homesick Alien now putting the power down, wanting to get away from these guys and make up for the slightly bad race 1 that we had. Guesty in second, he'll be looking to make up the place as well. Racer Brown, he'll be happy with this 3rd, because he's made up some good chunky points to Homesick Alien. He's going to lose out a little bit in this one, but I think he'll be happy with that one. Big Dan holding off in fourth. Silver Star constantly hounding Big Dan for fifth. Bassett in sixth. Rito is all at the moment. He's all on his Billy Bobs at the moment. He'll still be happy with seventh, though, I'm sure. This is Guesty. She's also on her Billy Bobs in eighth. Oh, I thought she was going to go pit in then. She's looked after her softs quite well, so it looks like she's going all the way to the end. Perchon has now gotten ahead of Pat, so Pat has seriously... Oh, that's why, because he's pitted. So Pat has pitted for a new set of soft, so he's really going to be pumping in the lap times, but I don't think he's going to make any form of dent in the gap between himself and Perchon, so it looks like Pat may be holding off in 10th, but can he get the fastest lap? Maybe that's what he's looking for. Get a fastest lap, and let's not forget, you get a point for the fastest lap, so 1 point to Pat would probably like winning the lottery for him. How good would that be to be boasting about getting the fastest lap in a race with some aliens? Speaking of aliens, it looks like they are going to go all the way. It looks like it's going to be a no-stopper, which they've really... I wonder if they've had to look after their tyres a lot, because I didn't think the softs would last half an hour, but again, it's proven me wrong. How many times do I get proven wrong? Never is the word you need to be answering with. I never get my information wrong. How dare you for thinking such outlandish ideas? We never get things wrong here. It's blasphemy thinking of so. Guesty holding off in second is unable to decrease the gap between himself and Homesick Alien, but he has heavily used those soft tyres. He's really been ragging that absolute chassis to death, and he's gone deep. He's out. Oh, is Racer Brown going to take advantage of it? I don't think he can. Oh no, Guesty's lost the back end. Is he holding? Oh, there. Oh, easy does it. Oh God. Oh, I just felt like sandpaper just got into my throat just then. Not the professionalism we expect. So Racer Brown takes advantage of the mistake from Guesty and moves up into second place. So now he's able to decrease the small deficit of points that he would lose to Homesick Alien from this race just a little bit more. You'd probably like it if Homesick Alien made a small mistake as well to take advantage of and probably take the lead of the championship at the end of this race. But we rarely see a mistake from Homesick Alien. So those in race 1 were glitches. That's what they were, weren't they, mate? They were glitches. What we saw was merely an illusion. So he's Racer Brown. Mind you, he's used his softs quite a bit compared to Homesick Alien. So Homesick Alien's really looked after those softs. And I don't think Racer Brown has got the toys to really bring it to Homesick Alien. So it looks like this could be the order that they finish in. Guesty dropping down to third. He's used the softs more than those guys ahead of him. So maybe it was just a bit of a tyre wear issue. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe just a little bit heavy footing on the right foot. But has managed to maintain third, and I think he'll be pleased with third given the competition around him. Big Dan as well is holding off fourth. He's held off Silver Star for a good chunk of this race, and he's done absolutely a stellar job for being able to keep Silver Star behind him, who is on the softs, but he has worn them a bit more than. So Silver Star using a bit more grip to try and decrease the gap to Big Dan, but it's really not paying off. And now it's just a question of, are the softs going to go on long enough for him to keep piling on this pressure on Big Dan, or is Big Dan going to make a small mistake and really let Silverstar through. Silverstar goes wide, hold on to it, he's gone on the grass. Keep it pointing in the right direction. There we go. So Silverstar's small mistake there has cost him a potential 4th place. It looks like Bazzo wasn't able. Oh, he's gone a little bit deep there. And so is Reno. Oh, whoa, Reno loses the back end there. Maybe he's struggling with the tyres as well. But don't forget, these Renault Meganes are very, very twitchy at the back. So Big Dan can now breathe a sigh of relief from all that pressure from Silverstar, and now he can just concentrate on getting a big buffer between himself and securing that 4th place. Silverstar holding off to 5th despite that small going off, so just got to keep his head down and looking in the right direction. Basil holding on in 6th as well. He's barely used those. Well, he's used those mediums quite a bit now for 28 minutes. He's got more grip left than Silverstar, but I don't think he'll be able to take advantage of it. Rito holding well in 7th. It's like that small little back end flick that he had going through the chicane. Mrs. Guesty holding off well in 8th as well. All by her Billy Lonesome again, but I'm sure she'll be happy with the 8th place, as well as Perchon in 9th. He's looked after his softs as well, so he's doing quite well. And Pat not able to do the fastest lap despite the fresher rubber and lighter tyre. I didn't think he would be able to catch them up, but it would look like his attempt for the fastest lap just didn't go quite well. So I think it's safe to say that Pat is going to be finishing last in this race. But so far, it's Homesick Alien's race for the time being, and there's only himself to beat now. He's got a bit of quite a buffer between himself and Racer Brown. So I said it last time and it happened. Oh, Homesick Alien going wide a little bit there. Maybe the tyres are starting to give up the ghost, I wonder. They've really used them tyres now. I mean, Homesick Alien's still got a little bit left more than Racer Brown. So those softs are really starting to feel the pain now, but less than 10 seconds they're going to get another lap in. Is Guesty going to get? Yeah, he's going to get another lap in. So it looks like Big Dan is going to be the first to cross the line in 4th. There we go, the timer is up. Oh no, Guesty has finished, so Guesty couldn't get to the line in time. Takes 3rd. Big Dan comes home in 4th. Silverstar comes home in 5th. He'll be happy with that one. Bazza comes home in 6th. Rito also coming home in 7th, and we've got a bit of a gap here to Mrs. Guesty. I'm sure she'll be pleased with that. Hey, look at how much grip she's got left on those tyres. Beautiful. Mrs. Guesty in 8th. Now down to Perchon, and oh, he's fighting that back end. He really doesn't want to play ball, but now he's got it under control across the line for 9th. And there's quite a gap between Perchon and Pat, so we'll have a quick look at these guys. They're still scrapping it out in their little victory lap, but I don't think they're going to be making any mistakes now, and they'll be absolutely kicking themselves. Pat not quite at the line just yet, but it looks like race 2 is going to go back to Homesick Alien Camp, which he'll be happy with to minimise that points gap. And there we go, Pat comes over the chicane. He comes home in 10th. Then we quick back to these guys, and it's all looking honky-dory for Homesick Alien. Missed out big time in race 1, but takes advantage of it in race 2. And I think it's safe to say that may have the championship lead, he may not, I don't know. We all have to wait and see. I think he may have still maybe like a point or 2 difference between them, so he's lost that big buffer that he did have. But here we go, round the chicane. Homesick Alien will be relieved to be taking the flag on this one. Homesick Alien takes race 2, and Racer Brown, oh, he's run out of fuel. I didn't even think that would be an up. Wow! Homesick Alien didn't have much left either. That's how much Racer Brown has been fighting it. But yes, there we go. Homesick Alien taking win, race 2 win after his very poor race 1, so I'm sure he'll be relieved at this one. Racer Brown coming home in second with no fuel left, so he was absolutely fighting it all the way to the end, and it was probably relieved that he ran out of juice there and then. Oh, mind you, they did an extra lap to everybody else, so that's probably why they're a little bit low on fuel, or in Racer Brown's case, none left at all. Where am I going? There we go. Guesty coming home in third. He'll be very, very happy with that podium. Big Dan coming home in fourth. He's had a race and a half today, getting a nice second and fourth. That's a very, very chunky set of points for him. Silverstar coming home in fifth. A great result for him. Bazza coming home in sixth in his home race. So I'm sure, well, he'll be happy with that third, getting a podium in his home race, so he's probably going to be happy regardless of this result with third in race 1. Rito somewhere in behind the hill. Let's see if we can get there. We go. That's a little better. We can see him now. Rito in 7th. Not the best of races for him. Mistakes here and there. It's probably cost him dearly. Mrs. Guesty coming home in 8th. She's done quite well, really, to be fair. She's all been our Billy Bob's, but I don't think there's been many mistakes from her, so I'm sure she'll be probably pleased just with the turnout of form. Perchon coming home in 9th. Maybe a few mistakes here and there for him, but maybe another day we could see Perchon truly shine. Pat as well, he the only one to do the pits. Probably looking for the faster lap, which didn't happen, which eventually did go to Guesty for that 28.3. So the pit stop really not working for him, but still get points at the end of the day. And there we go. Round 8. All done and dusted. And oh, that championship's really going to be heating up now, I suspect, after this one. I can't imagine there's going to be much between Homesick Alien and Racer Brown after this one. So, it's one that we will have to keep our eye on. It would appear that Racer Brown and Homesick Alien are going to be duking it out for that championship trophy. But who's going to be the one to get it, or is there going to be a last-minute comer, I wonder? Well, that was round 8. Round 9. When's round 9 going to happen? I don't know. I usually say I'm going to get things done, but then something comes up and completely throws that schedule out of the window. But where is round 9? Oh, it's Tokyo Expressway. Oh, that's going to be quite the good one to look forward to, I suspect. Hopefully I will get it done soon. Hopefully I won't be working the weekend, because I'm done with them. Do you know this is the most I've ever worked consecutively, 14 days? Surprise, surprise. I never thought I'd ever do a weekend ever again after my last chicane, but I guess wonders never cease. What I definitely am guaranteeing, though, tomorrow morning we will be bringing you round 2 of the MTCC, because I'm keeping on top of that one, because even though I said I would be keeping on top of the Meganes and the WRX, guess what? I haven't been. So I thought, nope, Mondays are going to be scheduled for the MTCC, and I am sticking to it. So do look forward to that one. And we are at the Nürburgring. So we go to Germany for the Nürburgring. This will be interesting for the Germans. And I still have the team versus team to do. I will try to get that done this week. I know I keep saying it. I sound like a broken record. I know. Insert your pennies, because I am that. Not worth that very much. But I will try to get it done as best as I can. But tomorrow will definitely be MTCC. That I do promise. So make sure you watch out for that one, because it is a beauty. So what I'll kindly ask you to do is, you know where that subscribe button is, don't you? Yes, we all know it's there. We all know it is. If you could click that, then you never miss any of this brilliant action that we bring you. All this excitement that we bring you, you get to see all of it. The downside is you get to listen to this blithering idiot, but I'm pretty sure you can put that to one side, maybe, and enjoy it. And if you hit that, the belly thingy-me-bobby, then you never miss it. You'll never miss a single minute of VRC action. And another one as well, you know that little hand that has the thumb pointing upwards thing, you know that one. If you give that one a bash, then I know I'm actually doing a good job of this, because I never do look, but it's like, well, if these people like it, I must be doing a half a decent job. Or you could do the opposite one to say, nah mate, you're not very good, we need a replacement. Then I know I can sign that petition to say, look, I'm not doing very well. Let's get somebody better, yeah? So, fill your boots. Fill your boots. And I will leave you to it. Sadly, there is no random information available for you today, so I'm going to quickly sign off. So I will say I was your broadcaster and commentator, insert comical name here. Try to enjoy your week. I know it's the start of the week. Everybody hates Mondays. I know that feeling. But here's a little bit of enjoyment to get you really kick-started to the week. So enjoy. And I will see you tomorrow night for the MTCC. Don't miss it, because it's so good. Subliminal messages here. So I'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, my friends, have a nice day.